I mean, I can.
I mean, I'm ready to start
I mean,
wherever, honestly. I guess I can start with I was today after what you messaged me. I actually have spoken to a few people already about how they're feeling, and I spoke to C2, Nikki, and Jimbo. All three have really similar vibes of morale is shit, PD's kind of down the drain, and they're not feeling too great. So I already kind of started that. Anita, what I would like from you is kind of a bit more context on what LSPD are doing, whether they're doing a similar thing to what I was already doing. And Hayes, I want to hear basically kind of what Anita told me about, basically,
oh,
and how you're feeling.
I don't know fully what they're doing.
Okay.
All I know was that I know that Bison has been meeting with people to check on them.
Okay.
And I think that Viv, someone like said that Viv had done something similar or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, but I know I know it's to get like a general impression of how everything is, but I don't know like what's more than that, to be honest.
Okay. Well, that's honestly great. That's the same similar thing to what I started to do today, and I think it's yeah, I'm gonna try and speak to as many people as I can, and that's why I'm here as well, especially for you, Hayes. I know you've got something specific that has happened too.
So my thing is kind of like from the restructure to now, because what's Snow said and Svensson saying that you guys can't say your opposition to the war because we don't want people to not want to go, or you to convince people to not go or feel bad about going. Just kind of like feeling like we were being disrespectful. But since the restructure, the first couple of weeks was people just yelling at me, disrespecting me, not trusting the calls that I was making in situations where I was lead. And then that kind of made me shut up a little bit. Because I felt like even though before the restructure, I felt like I was trusted on calls that I would make. I was trusted as a police officer to have the basic understanding of how to operate on scenes. As soon as the restructure went away, that went away as well. Like everything was square one, and I felt like I was a cadet again.
Was there any specific people that made you feel like that, or was it just a general vibe of everyone on shift?
It was a general vibe because everyone was fighting for their ability to get hired.
Yes. Yeah, it was quite a fight at the beginning, I will, yeah.
Yeah. Like people were throwing punches when really punches didn't need to be thrown, and they were trying to prove themselves, which I get it, like you're trying to get your job, but it's kind of the mentality that is always supported in this police department, is the loudest person gets the say.
Yes, I've struggled with that before too, just because I sometimes struggle to speak, right? I'm not really always the best speaker, and if someone will speak over me, it's hard to get the voice in. Also, without sometimes, you know, when I raise my voice or whatever, I sound like I'm angrier than I am. So I can also, yeah, I can relate to that one. It can be difficult, definitely.
Yeah, when I raise my voice, I feel like people take it as I'm angry, but it's mostly because I'm trying to act bigger because everyone else is acting bigger around me, so I have to match it.
Yeah, I understand
that. So I just stopped kind of being me, and then with the talk with Toretti, the talk with Shelby, honestly, the talk with Shelby was just it was just bad all around. I was at fault. She was at fault. I shouldn't have been like...
What was that one? I don't know if I'm fully aware.
So I was in SDSO for 5 hours trying to talk to people about why cannoli is such an important part of PBSO. And from sitting in SDSO for that long, just waiting for someone to talk to me, Shelby heard our points. Anita was there, Patty was there, and someone else was there that I'm not remembering.
Was it?
But we were just saying how he's a great asset to PBSO. He brings the morale up. He's always a go-getter, and he looks out for the people that he works with, which is why I loved PBSO before, is because we had each other's back regardless if it's in a meeting room or if it's out on patrol.
Yes, I agree.
So it went into, we said that, and then she said, well, you guys have to wait because I think Toretti needs to hear this. And I didn't want to wait another 5 hours.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So then something was said. I have this thing where if I get to my boiling point, I snap, and I just started saying how my main concern about PBSO is the fact that SDSO is going to always be Toretti's baby, and that SDSO is going to overshadow PBSO, and there's not going to be the same opportunities for deputies in PBSO, be that ranks, be that certifications, be that opportunities in the police department.
Yeah.
And just being heard. It then turned into a screaming match. I am at fault for that. I shouldn't have done it. Especially since she was a sergeant, I should have just shut the fuck up, but I was not in a good mental spot.
Yeah, it gets heated sometimes. It happens.
Yeah. It does happen. It's still something that I know is a problem with me, and normally I count to 10, but I didn't count to 10 for that time, and I mentally snapped and was seeing red when there was no reason to see red, and I recognize that fault.
Yes.
It then went into Toretti having a stipulation for me getting hired, which is understandable because I was insubordinate. He said that it went from a yes to me getting hired to me getting a no to being hired, and then to yes, and that was never explained to me as to why it went from a yes, no, yes. I would hope that it is based off of the conversation that I had with Shelby, but I've never gotten any type of resolution or explanation as to what I need to do better as a deputy, because he just said, just keep being you, Hayes, and after the restructure, I felt me was not wanted. So it was really weird. He then suggested that I ride with different people, so I get to know people, and I get to, like, show that I want to be in PBSO by riding with PBSO officers and riding with different people. I rode with 20 different people, and it was good. All the people that I rode with are fantastic people. It just became a chore because I kept trying to look for different people to ride with to just add to a list.
Yeah.
I then came in as a probationary deputy to then learn from other deputies on the field. Was never told what I need to learn or what I need to work on. And this has followed me throughout my entire career since the restructure. Like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know why I don't feel trusted.
So you never got the communication of what they were cautious of?
Yeah. I never got the explanation as to what I need to work on as a deputy. And I know there are certain deputies that will trust me with my ability to operate, but for the vast
I don't remember
majority,
what was said about her.
I don't know,
I'm gonna be
and
honest.
everybody's been treating me
Jordan.
differently to the point where I don't trust myself.
Yeah, I understand that. So much said around you, not an explanation of what to do better, is, you know, it's going to take a knock-on effect.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's been a bad mental spiral, and trying to get better and trying to leading, but then also being scared of leading because I don't want to be yelled at, I don't want to be belittled, and it's been a lot of belittling.
Yeah.
Like, I really wish it wasn't a belittling situation,
Mackenzie
but
Hayes, yeah.
the feeling in the PBSO meetings, they don't translate to on patrol.
Right. Okay.
I don't feel like people have my back. I don't feel like I can trust people to do their jobs. I don't feel like when push comes to shove, I gotta shut up.
I see.
And then the whole meeting
That's
in
rough.
PBSO where people were like, oh, this is an open forum, say your piece, then turned into me. Well, first it was Patty that was trying to talk, and then she was talked over.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a little bit ticked off at that. And then I tried to make the analogy of America getting their freedom of being a country from England. While it was, yes, a violent one, they still got it. Snow then said I was a dumb fuck and I didn't know my history because I didn't point out that it was through a war. I just said that they got their countryship from England.
I see. That's pretty rough. Mm-hmm.
And then Svensson started saying that yes, you guys can say what you. I don't even think he said that we can say what we want. He just said, don't say anything that's against the war because we don't want you guys being disrespectful to the people that are going. And through the meeting at the FIB building to then PBSO, which was supposed to be kind of like a patching up what happened at FIB,
It did the opposite.
It did the opposite. It turned into a screaming match, and I was never allowed to say my piece and was just talked over. And I don't even think an open forum should have been allowed because I feel like command is very sensitive with the things that they are doing, and when people have oppositions to it, then it turns into, well, just follow orders.
Yeah, which is not the way it should be, really.
I mean, we do have to follow orders. Like, if someone makes a call on patrol, I will follow it unless I know that there's another way of doing it.
Of a war that we're going to, that people are, choosing to go to and putting their lives on the line and following orders on patrol. You're allowed to ask questions without being called a dumb fuck.
Yeah.
That's my kind of point.
It was effectively asking me to be something that I did not sign up for, that is not in the employment of what I do for my day-to-day. I swore to protect the citizens of San Andreas, and I've tried to do that and uphold that. I've broke orders from Bass to look for Crystal when he wanted a meeting to happen. Like, everything I've done was to make sure that people are protected and safe. And that's the thing that I always try and do. But it doesn't feel like that is something that is wanted in this police department anymore. Because my shift is I respond to 77 requests, I document car. If I'm not riding with Anita or somebody that is close to me, I'm not talking to anybody, and I go fucking crazy when I'm bored, and I lose interest in everything. I start resenting people, and then I just don't want to come on duty.
Oh, fuck. I see. It's a shame, and it really sucks. A lot of the things you said are not far from what I've heard from other people.
Just to add on this,
yeah.
Candice, I was on a break, right, and I came back, and I asked a bunch of people how they're feeling with everything and so on.
Yeah.
And the whole thing of just not wanting to, just feeling demotivated, feeling like there's no support overall, just in general. Not I'm not even saying like a BCSO thing. I'm saying like in general, like there's no support on patrol. There's people just not supporting. We're we're fighting against each other instead of supporting each other, and that takes a massive toll. Like I
Oh yeah.
literally had one of our deputies, and I mean I'll just say names because I don't want. Yeah, it was Jimbo. He literally said like he didn't feel like wanting to patrol or do anything. Same
Yeah.
with Castle. Like people are just you're losing it in a way, losing the want to be here.
Yeah. I'm hearing it way too often, and what I've kind of been saying to a lot of people is it feels like the people who are running the PD and the ones that are in command, the ones that are meant to be lifting us up and telling us what to do and help us to be motivated every day, aren't really communicating with the casual deputy, the cadet, everyone else, right? That's kind of below command. And the people that used to, Bass is dead. Big T quit. Fred is in prison. Oh, he's in prison. He's a criminal. And I feel like we're lacking those kind of people currently. And we have been for a bit. And I think it's taking a big effect and a big knock-on toll on everyone. And so that's why I'm trying to talk to everyone. It's, I'm sorry you're feeling like that. And as much as I don't really see you out on duty too much, when I have, you've done a great job, Hayes. And I don't really have any complaints. If I did, I'd let you know. For the thing that you mentioned at the beginning of the restructure, do you feel like you want some closure for that part of what they were having struggles with?
Really love some closure for that part.
Okay. Well, No, carry on.
I'm somebody that if you do not give me a reason, then I start creating reasons.
Yeah, I completely understand that. I would do the exact same thing. I would start thinking and what you're thinking may probably be worse than whatever it actually is. And the thing is, how can you improve if no one's told you? So I can try and speak to some people about that because I'll be honest, I can't specifically remember what it was, and I don't want to just give you some spiel that's not correct. And we'll try and get that closure for you. I think it'll be important to hopefully, get you feeling more like you want to be on duty and pushing towards whatever goals you want to push. For everything else, I've kind of been asking people what would help the morale for you. What could command and high command do that would make you feel a bit more wanted on duty and want to come on duty yourself?
To feel more heard?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not talking about like taking whatever dumb idea I say and then inputting it into what PBSO is like the teamwork doesn't seem to be there. Everyone still seems to be, or it feels like everyone's still trying to fight for rank or fighting for whatever type of certification that they want to go for. And they're trying to make themselves look better so they can get that, and because of that they are stepping on people to get there, because it's still very much the loudest person in the room gets the cookie.
Yeah.
To actually be able to say criticisms to high command whenever they say it is an open forum, you guys can air your grievances. Because it really does feel like there's a disconnect between patrol and high command, where in PBSO it's not clicking. Because LSPD, I know Dark has done the really hard thing by answering the really hard questions that he could possibly do.
Yeah.
And in PBSO, it is an elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah.
And at some point, it's okay for high command to just be like, yeah, we fucked up. We didn't do exactly what we should have done because honestly, we weren't the ones to do it, or whatever they want to say. Like,
yeah, I think you've got it there with the elephant in the room kind of thing. It's someone kind of said it very bluntly earlier. The PD, they feel like PD is for a few select people and everyone else is a side character. And
yeah,
they said, yeah, I thought it was fairly accurate. They said they don't mind being a side character, as long as they can do their own thing. But lately, they have felt like, you know, they're being forced to go with whatever High Command wants them to do. And so they're struggling to do their own thing and to be happy in their side character's stage or whatever. And, I mean, you're kind of saying what a lot of people have said the same thing to me earlier. I've only spoken to a few people so far, but you're kind of repeating pretty much nearly word for word what they're saying as well. And not without being prompted, everyone's just saying these things the same. It's a PD. I honestly don't even think it's a BCSO problem. It's a PD wide problem. Because I've also spoken to some other people from other departments as well who are feeling very, very similar.
So if I 100%, it is a PD in general type of thing. But I do think that for the BCSO side, we kind of dropped the ball with this whole war thing, as in follow-ups and so on with people. I do have to give it to Stubble. He was in the ICU for a long time.
Yeah.
Right? And that doesn't help and so on. Right? But,
yeah.
I mean, even like in follow-up meetings and so on that I was there, like, and Svensson was there, there was, you know, nothing, you know, there was no, like, I don't want to say that I don't think we should go to the sheriff or to the under sheriff for our issues in a way, right? We should need to go to corporal sergeants and so on, right?
Yeah.
But when something this big happens, right? When people are talking, like everybody is talking about what happened. Everybody is talking about what people did, people that have been suspended, people that have been fired, right? But all of the communication that is being given is literally like second, third, fourth hand, right?
Oh yeah.
There's no clarification for any of these things. And it would be reassuring to feel like, you know, this is a knowledge, they know that this is an issue, right? And that they're trying to look for answers for us, right? That's what I explained this to Stubble, right? And he made a small announcement on Workout Wednesday, right? Which was good, but again, it's, you know,
I'll be honest, it didn't feel like enough. You know, even for me, who, you know, I'm in a command position, I'm also feeling similar to a lot of people. I'm more so a patrol cop, and that's what I like doing. I like trying to keep, you know, everyone in check on patrol or whatever, and keep an eye on it and see how people are doing. And even I've kind of felt that disconnect between, you know, patrol cops and people who want to do things other than patrol, or but like do things around patrol. And high command and command. And I mean, the thing with Stubble is obviously he does a great job, but he has got a lot to do. And I do feel like he probably will, you know, prioritize some things over others. And him saying that at the meeting was all well and good, but I think our actions are what makes the big difference. Honestly, his little speech and me talking to someone yesterday or 2 days ago was one of the reasons why I wanted to start to talk to people as well, because I also realized there hasn't been that open communication. There hasn't been any kind of talks of how are you doing or whatever. I was gonna do it a couple weeks ago. I think I was gonna do it with Snow, but it just never worked out. But realizing now it's so important, and it
at the same time, on Monday or Tuesday, you had Dark. He got out of the ICU, right? And he was at the mission row meeting, answering questions for people, like answering questions like that's where
great.
people put them on the spot, right? That is great, you know. And then when I hear about things like that, right, it's like, okay, fuck, like I don't know. Like people ask me, oh, what have you guys been sent? I was like, nothing. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So,
Candice, do you need food? I see you eat.
I'm eating these IFACs really hard right now.
Crackers from those IFACs. That
Here's
crazy
some
woman.
pizza, Jesus.
Thank you. Oh, that's good. I am hungry. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Oh, that's better. That's better.
But then there's also the issue where in the shift that I do, 77s are non-existent. Every time I try and do something that is not responding to a 77 or a 78, the likelihood of me getting backup in early shift, well, it's technically late shift 1 for you, but it's earlier part of my shift,
Yeah.
will be non-existent, and then later shift for like shift 2, it gets a little bit better, but it still is a toss-up.
That sounds like a bit of a multi-shift thing, because it's been the same for me too. Shift 1, I have also felt like I will be like, any 77s, there'll be 18 people on duty, but 4 people out actually patrolling. It has been quite difficult. That's something I'm attempting to. I'm not really 100% sure what to do with that yet. I think it's partially the blowout from the war and people having all these meetings, but it is too much. You know, we can't have 20 people on duty and then only 3 or 4 going out on patrol.
Oh, this was happening before the war. Like, an example is I went to a 37 call, saw a stratum leaving the area, requested a 77 while I was doing K9. No one responded. I attempted to approach the stratum. They just drove away, and dog take long time to get in car, so they just got away.
Yeah.
Like, most of the time that's how it is, unless it's a basic traffic stop where I don't really need a 77.
Yeah, that one's rough. We'll have to just monitor that and just see what we can do and try and come up with more of a solution, whether it's just force more people out there or whatever. I don't really know, because the morale is obviously pretty bad right now. I don't want to force anyone to do anything, but
right now forcing somebody would probably be a good idea.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of been spoken about to possibly just force people off duty if they're 10-7 for too long, so we actually know how many people we've got on patrol. So maybe that will be the way forwards, but I'll talk with command and see what they say too about it. I did have a question. So, Anita, you mentioned that Stubble did his speech yesterday, and you kind of, I got the impression you feel like that wasn't enough too. And so
on Wednesday. I mean,
Wednesday, sorry.
Listen, he at least acknowledged it, which for me, it's okay. I haven't been here for a week and a half. I haven't been suffering half of what everybody that has been here, constantly is currently suffering, right? So, while for me it was okay. It was an acknowledgement that it's an issue. I am concerned that if it wasn't for me,
that wouldn't have happened.
Would I? Maybe. Oh no. And it's just how does one side of high command, does attempt to give answers and the other side doesn't, right?
Yes. You know what I think it might be is, as I said before, Stubble's got 100 things on his checklist. He takes on everything he possibly can.
He does. He really does.
Yeah, sometimes, a lot of the time, too much. But it's what he likes to do, and he tries to help as much as he can. But I do feel like it can be slightly damaging too, because I think him acknowledging that is kind of like him checking that off his list. Because he doesn't have the time to go talk to every single deputy or whatever. But sergeants definitely can, and that's why I'm doing it, and so we can feed back the information. And so I'm glad this is happening, and you spoke to me about it as well. Because some of the time, I love Stubble, but his delegation isn't the best. And I probably wouldn't have found out about this until you let me know.
Yeah. Well, oh, sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, it's also been like, if it isn't for Stubble, we rarely have amends at this time, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not
Anita,
gonna like at
what?
the end of the day,
Anita
that's where
Lieutenant? What?
corporals need to step up, which is fair, which is
Yep.
fine, right?
What?
Um,
That
and
would be
that's why I
crazy.
reached
Wouldn't
out,
that fix
right?
that
Right.
moment?
But
Uh-huh.
it also that's why everybody goes to stubble, you know,
Yeah.
and that's it ends up being fucked up.
Yeah, 100%. Stubble is there a lot. He is always, he's in a meeting, he's ready, he's in his room, he's 10/7, he's always there for people to talk to. But unfortunately, I just don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough in shift 1. I don't even think that's enough in shift 2. He's always there and he will always answer people, and they don't necessarily go to the other people below them as well, which is a problem Stubbs and I have been talking about too. But you speaking about, you needing more command around this time. Honestly, they just need to make you lieutenant. I don't know. I mean, I told you, you've got my vote for it. I think you'd be
I
great for
appreciate
it.
it, Candice,
Honestly, it just.
I'll
look.
make the interview for it. But
Yeah, you better do. You better not say no.
There's a lot of people, and I do think that anybody would be great. I told Stubble a long time ago that making Pond a sergeant needs to be like a right now, to be honest. Also. Because he asked me like, who would I want to see as the next sergeant? And I said like, to be honest, give it to her. Well, but there is this gap where it's like it goes from corporal to stubble, right?
Yes.
And
Which I didn't want to just go to stubble.
Yeah. No,
Even though I have recommended people to just go to stubble because there's no sergeants.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame people for doing it. If there's no one else around to go to, then, what are you going to do? So, Yeah, and I would like to speak to Stubble. I do think that the war has, even before the war, there's been a lot of stalling with, possible new people in new ranks, and pushing up more ranks and having more people around, especially around this time and stuff like that. And I think there's been a massive pause. And one thing that is one of my pet peeves is that I do feel like command take a long freaking time to decide anything. I mean, have you guys noticed that Motor hasn't had a lead since Rose died?
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they're taking so long when there's literally 2 people to decide from.
just get lead. And just get lead.
Oh, I've been trying, don't worry. It's between Max and I, but they're taking their goddamn time. I just want them to decide for now. So yeah, that's just me explaining that it takes them a while to do these things, but I'll try and push them along, because it was something I was also talking to Jimbo about earlier, of that we do need to push at least a little bit. It may not be too many changes, but I think there'll be at least like 2, and it needs to happen, especially more now so than ever. Considering morale is so down, we need some good things around here. So I will speak to him about that and see if there's any steps forward.
I think he was probably like waiting to get a lieutenant, to get like the lieutenant to handle those promotions, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of like how I've kind of thought about it and so on. I don't know if promotions are gonna save or help anything of what people are feeling, though.
It depends who gets put into the positions. It needs to be someone who is, a people person, easy to approach, and who can actually help that morale be boosted. And in my opinion, if someone gets put into those positions, it will definitely at least help a bit.
Yeah, because yeah, I mean, the more you go up, the less patrol you're gonna do, and the more meetings you're gonna be in.
Yes.
So that's why, yeah, people in those positions need to have the time and patience for it. And that's why we also reached out to you, because I felt like you'd probably be the best one to approach, because Barrick is shift 3, and I don't think we could have this conversation with Boom.
Yeah.
And be productive.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I do appreciate you reaching out to me. It's good to hear. I want to help, you know? I'm around every day, and as I said, a lot of people go to Stubble immediately and he deals with their things. So being able to actually do something definitely is nice. And I'm always, you know, I can come around this time and I can talk if needs be. So yeah, and I'll do my best with everything that you guys have told me today. I can't make any promises of like things that will definitely change, especially immediately, but hopefully you at least feel a little bit more listened to now, and I'll do everything in my power to put that forward and let Stubble know of everything that is going on and how his officers are feeling.